This summit came to fruition as an idea that says, well, what's Mission to North America's role as it relates to church planting in the PCA? This summit is a very intentional way of bringing various voices of men and women involved in church planting networks, church planting network leaders, presbytery leaders, church planters, to say, what does it look like for us to communicate for better collaboration and catalyzing of church planting into the future? Because the need is great. We've experienced in the PCA a decline in church planting over the last couple of years, and certainly the pandemic has something to do with that, but it's not just the pandemic. It is also related to the culture we're in, the missional moment we're in, and the recasting of our vision for kingdom expansion work through church planting.
One of the things that we want our planting pastors to see is that you are not alone in the work that you do. And we also want those mother churches or those partnering mother churches to see that they're not alone in considering church planting. M&A wants to come alongside and provide a resource to say, these are the things that you need to consider. These are the ways that we can help. And it's not just within M&A, it's across agencies. We're here on the campus of Covenant Seminary, seeing that interagency collaboration, which is beautiful.
Chris Vogel will be M&A's church planting and vitality coordinator. So he's going to be building our communications platform to make sure that it's clear for our pastors and our sessions and our presbyteries who want to learn about how M&A is engaging the work of church planting, who to talk to, who to email. So those lines of communications are developing.
Reach out to M&A, I think you'll quickly realize what a wonderfully diverse and gifted organization that we have here at our disposal. Church planting is certainly core and central to who we are, but there's so many other agencies that can help support church planting, can help with church vitality. Again, it's not just getting a church started and planted that M&A is concerned about. It's the issue of vitality and health, and that's true for a church whether it's 1 year old or 100 years old. We all need to constantly be thinking, what is God calling us to be and to do in our community?
I think this experience at the summit has been something that I actually haven't experienced in our denomination before. I really appreciate the mindset that says that none of us here are experts. If we collaborate together and if we share best practices, if we share some of the struggles, but also the celebrations of church planting, we're going to get encouraged, we're going to be inspired to do more of it, but we're also going to be wiser in how we plant. I'm optimistic about what's ahead.
I think that this summit has done a great job of encompassing and embracing the spectrum of diversity that we experience in the PCA. This summit is saying that the way that the PCA has gone about planting churches has both been a source of encouragement, but also it has been an opportunity to recognize that there are people and people groups that we have not done a great job of reaching. And African Americans specifically are one of those main groups. And this summit is not shying away from that reality, but giving the opportunity for us all to look at that reality in the face and say, what are we going to do about it?
One of my hopes coming out of this summit and seeing such a full room of church planters from all over the nation is that leaders and churches who are out there and maybe are wondering whether they should be planting, wondering whether is this still a good idea, is this something that we should take a risk on. My hope would be that they would see a community of leaders who are saying, we're all in on this, and we still think it's a good idea. We think in many respects it's maybe more important now than it has been in a while, that we have to get back to it.
It's absolutely a critical time. Right now, in our cultural moment with the injustice and civil unrest, the racial unrest, all the questions around gender and sexuality, and certainly the isolation and fear that's been created by this pandemic, those are opportunities for the kingdom of God. But if we respond with the flesh, then we will retreat. If we respond with the Spirit, then we will trust and have faith and advance.
The PCA is far better positioned now after these 3 days. I can tell you countless stories of what I've heard as feedback of just simply saying, I made friends and I made real connections here that will actually drive church planting moving forward. Just the amount of networking and collaboration that was going on, both in the formal times and the informal times of the summit, was amazing. And it's great that I had some of my students to be here, that they were able to taste and see this is something good and beautiful and right about the PCA.
When I planted Cahaba Park Church in Birmingham, Alabama, one of the things that my mentor said to me is that when you plant this church, you will see God work in unique ways that you won't have otherwise had the opportunity to if pastoring an existing church. There was something about planting a church, depending on God, for creating something out of nothing. God's people gathered together, calling on God's Spirit to gather in the lost.
We have a representation of the Presbyterian Church in America. People from the various facets and aspects, men and women, of our denomination from all over this country and in some Canadian representation as well, who are passionate about saying, how do we as a denomination grow our church planting efforts? It's going to take the whole denomination. So Mission to North America, we're not tribal. We're not for one segment of a denomination, another segment. We are pro-PCA, pro-all PCA, and we want to see our church expand in its faithfulness to the kingdom mission that we've been given by God here in the U.S. and Canada.